Shortest intro ever.
Yeah, that really cut out there on me. Well, good evening, keepers of the cash. Me, the casual comic guy here, with our quick intro because Manny demanded it because all eyes need to be on him
all the time. The time.
He's going because he's a graceful man. He's going to allow me to introduce my co-host, Rob Fat Stacks of Comics. How you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, another day. Made a couple more dollars, so
There you go. I think we all did. Still in the business. And of course, our man of the hour of the evening, a guy I have not talked to in way too long. Manny, how are you, sir?
Dude, I am great. I'm super excited for the spring in Minnesota. It has been 40 degrees for the last 2-3 weeks with 40-mile-an-hour winds. The temperatures feel like they're about 18 to 20. So it's been balmy and summery. It's been great.
How does an island boy live in that kind of weather?
I exist. I wouldn't call it living. I exist.
Never come to Rochester, Manny. So we'll have it's going to be 70 degrees this afternoon. But when you woke up in the morning, it was 13 degrees, and then it's 70 degrees, and then it's raining and sleeting by nightfall, and then you get a spot of snow, and then wake up and it's 40 degrees in the morning, and it changes all the way through the day again.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Station.
All right. So, Manny, before we get going, of course, the people who join us in the chat are going to know who you are. They're here for the Island Boy. They know you. They love you. But the people on the rewind that have never seen you, give a quick introduction of yourself and your channel, sir.
Yeah. Well, I am the host of Manny's Different Perspectives, part of Chamorro Cinema. That's my channel. That's okay. I do like comic book reviews and movie reviews, top 10 lists, all that good stuff. But the main person that you're going to want to check out is actually the network I'm part of, the PCP Army Bad Batch. We've got great creators like Brandon's Comics Kings, Nick Comic Culture, One Collection Down, who's in the chat, Big Herm Collectibles. Definitely check out all those guys because they do everything I do, but better, way better.
But do they have such sharp, clear cameras?
Nick is shooting in 4K now.
Wow.
I can watch his morning live streams and see him sip coffee at 2174 or whatever YouTube tops out at. And honestly, my heart gets a flutter. I get nervous about my health just from the sheer beauty of it,
Now you still got some of the best cameras on the YouTube, in my opinion.
Oh, thanks.
One day I'll invest in a good one for myself, but when you're ugly, you don't have to worry about it. People don't really want to see you anyway.
Gary, you are gorgeous, buddy. You are gorgeous.
Yes, in a world of trolls, that would probably be true. Yeah. But I escaped the bridge.
I say, what are you drinking, Manny?
Right?
Oh, monster.
I didn't know it was date night.
Exactly. You will when the brown paper bag comes out.
Right?
Paper or plastic.
All right, so what we are here for tonight, guys, this is, of course, the 10-1-1, and Manny has brought with him 10 books that mean something to him. He's going to give a little bit of why it's a top 10 book, why it's one of his favorite books. Not a top 10, but why it's one of his 10 favorites. And he's going to give us another book with an extended story, and then a spec pick from the Island Boy himself.
Oh, dude.
So, Manny, without further ado, Justin, we got to get you on here too. Without further ado, let's start out with a book. Let's see what you got for us, sir.
So, first book I want to show off. This is the first comic book win I ever got in this community. So the first contest I was ever in, and it's a signed Redshift. I got this from the Bearded Comic Bro. He's one of the first channels I found when I joined the community. The interviews he was doing with creators were like top notch. They were. They're not anymore. If you watch Greg's stuff, it's gone way downhill. But before, he was the best interviewer in the biz. But really, really, really adored his stuff. And then we started noticing me in the chats, like you get like nervous about like these guys are YouTube famous, right? Because you've been watching their stuff for so long. And he had this book up, and I didn't know I won. I got a message from him, and I was so nervous when I got that message, Gary. I almost ghosted the guy. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, I don't know if I should talk. Do I talk to Greg? And now I talk to Greg, and I wish we would stop. But at least for the time being, this was super special. So this was my very first book I ever won from the community.
It's funny because that book looked really interesting to me, and I have all 5 issues, and it's in my to read in the next month pile.
I haven't opened it because it's signed, so I don't know how I don't know what the protocol is. So like I know I'm supposed to send it somewhere. They put it in plastic. So I don't know if I read it after that. So
you sit on it, and it by osmosis it goes up your, and you'll know the information.
Absolutely. And it's Scout Comics, which means that generally no one knows when they're coming out. So when I get the rest of them, it'll feel like it's a brand new book. I can feel like I can talk about it,
You'll forget what it was.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, that's a good story and a signed book.
Yeah.
All right, what's on number 2 here for you, bud?
Number 2, this is the first creator I ever had on my show. This is from Brandon Ingram, the writer of The Gallows Man. The Gallows Man is super fun, kind of that it's very cartoony, very like old school Adam West Batman, but with like a Tarantino vibe. Like it's super gory, bloody, but it's super fun. And he was the first creator I ever had.
So
and
can't be profane in a body count.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And I didn't know he was like 10 years old when I had him on the show. Like I mean, he's like 20 something, but like I was like, oh, he's a comic creator. He had reached out to me, and I was like, I'm gonna have a creator on the show. I'm gonna be like Greg. And so I had him on, and then when he showed up backstage, I was like, this is a child. Okay, we're gonna roll with this. And he's one of my best friends. He's been on tons of my shows since. I really love this guy.
Well, it's funny you brought him up because I am doing a one-on-one with him this Friday night.
Nice. Are you guys gonna talk Gallows Man too? That was a super fun read. Oh, I loved it.
So what a weird coincidence.
Well, he's a go-getter, man. That guy, he's reaching out to everybody. So I don't know. I love this kid. I love him.
Yeah,
and his podcast
last month, and I gave him a date that I can make it work.
Oh, dude, have you listened to his podcast at all? Store Brand Comics?
No, you'll have to link me in on that because I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, I'll send it over. They started a YouTube channel, but it's been mostly still the podcast. But they just do pitches, like random pitches for movies and stuff, and it's so much fun to listen to. Him and Tio do a great job.
Nice. All right, number 3, sir.
Number 3, this is the first exclusive variant I ever bought. So I've been a member of the Pop Culture Philosophers Army since its inception. I think I was like 3 weeks from the time that group started that I've been in that group. And me and Robbie have been friends for, better part of a decade. So one of the members of that army is Brett Hess, who is a phenomenal artist. So I got his I Breathe the Body exclusive variant. I did have to hide this a little bit from the wife at first because I didn't know comics could cost $30. For like a, so I was like, she's gonna kill me. So I had to like wait till I got a mystery box in. So I was like, it was part of a mystery box. But now she's watching this and she knows. And this is why I don't expect my life expectancy to go very long, you guys. I
start buying some of the stuff I buy and watch
So
what
is that
happens.
an Indiegogo exclusive or
So this was no, it's the same group that Rogue Traders sells a lot of their exclusives.
Right, okay.
I can't remember the name, but it was a limited 500 run. So I bought this one.
That's definitely one of those learning curves you get when you start buying exclusives, because you think, oh, comics, they're $4 or $5. If I'm getting something special, it's 10. And then you go like, oh, that looks like a cool cut. Oh, that's what those cost. All right, I guess I can do without.
Oh, dude. Dude, I went to go jump into Fantastic Four, like issue, I don't know, 24, 20, the current run, right? So I went and I grabbed all the numbers I needed up to the most current issue, and I went up to I didn't know about retailer like or incentive variants or any of that. And they like told me
yeah.
my type. They're like, oh, your total is $85, and I think I may have audibly said "fuck you," um, but
You squeeze me,
she's
baking
like, well,
powder.
I just kind of stood there, and she's like, well, this is a 1 in 25, so it's this much. This is a.
But
I
why
was
wasn't
like,
it marked then?
it was, but
Oh.
I wasn't paying attention because all the other books said $3.99, so I was like, oh,
This
$3.99.
is the issue I need.
Yeah, I just looked at the numbers on the top, and that was also another learning curve. But
Hey,
yeah,
here's another learning curve for you. If you go in the back bin, just because it says 50 cents on the cover, it's not necessarily 50 cents.
oh, dude, that has, and you know what else
Talk
sucks?
about the golden age ones. I've been killing myself. It's not 10 cents.
This, have you seen the paper quality? It's all yellowed. Come on.
Right?
Are you kidding me? No, the other thing I had to learn was that just because like people shop comic shops, right? So there's just comics in short boxes that they're not necessarily in the bin that they're priced in. So I've gone many a time with a big stack of dollar bin books that somebody hid in the dollar bin because they're going to come back and get them later,
Right.
and then been slammed with a huge bill. And because I work for Aftershock Comics, the one thing I never want to do is not pay the retailer. So I always just like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Ramen this month, ramen, it works. It works.
I think even doing that though, it's fair that if you pull something out of a bin and it's not priced on it, and they go to, then it's a different price, and you go, well, I pulled it from the dollar bin, and they say, oh, well, blah blah blah. Then it's like, well, okay, I'm not going to take that one. I think that's a fair thing. That's where I was. If you don't have it priced, and I pull it from this bin, then when I get up to the register, if the price is something other than the price on the bin, I have the right to not walk out the store with it. I'm not obligated to buy it.
Oh, I know, but I am you know how there's alpha males, beta males. I don't know what a Z male is, but that's about where I sit on that totem pole. So I just kind of shrink down, and I'm like, all right, here you go.
So you just give them your belly.
I do every single time.
Got it.
Every single time.
And your wallet.
You and I will have to talk Aftershock at some point. We get most of their books at my LCS and sell them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Dude, definitely.
You and I will have to talk. But anyway, book number what? 4?
Book number 4.
I always lose track. I get caught up in the stories, and then I have no idea where we're at.
And I'm just gonna keep showing book because like I'm horrible at putting stuff away. So I got mountains over here, so I can just keep going, until you tell me to stop. But so I'd been collecting for a few months at this point, and I had started to kind of get in the know as to what was coming out, and trying to find like things that I liked, and I hunted for very specific artists and stuff like that. This is the first artist that I ever hunted for, and it might not be the most premier artwork, but I loved these two-tone covers, so I went and hunted for all of these. And because I'm horrible at knowing what I've ordered, I not only went to my LCS and grabbed these, and then went to other LCSs and grabbed them. I ordered them from Tfal, and because Tfal doesn't know how to ship on time. Speaking of, if you go to my website, thehuntinggrounds.com, you can go to Tfal and you get 5% off your order. If you go to my website. So Tfal, I'm sorry for saying this, but you bastards don't ship on time. So I was getting these like 4 months later, and I'm like, oh, I've got 6 amazing Spider-Man two-tone variants.
Yeah, I love the Spider-Woman one. Was my favorite.
Oh, Spider-Woman one was great. I love the Black Panther one.
I think the Iron Man one was one of the ones I don't know. They were all good. I will admit,
and the Black Widow.
I mean, as much as the Alex Ross Timeless ones came out around that time too, were really big. I honestly thought the simplicity of these covers for many of them were better than some of the others. I know that's kind of hard to say. Anytime you go against Alex Ross, but
I think it's sometimes his stuff is hit or miss for me. No matter how talented he is, his art is very hit or miss for me.
Yeah. I think with the timeless too, if they had been all printed on like cardstock, they would have been more appealing too, because some of them with the shitty cover stock, you could see through this beautiful printing, so then you have it on your wall and you could see the artwork on the inside shining through the cover, so that kind of sucked. But
Number 5. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, number 5. So, as I said, big fan of pop culture philosophers. Rock and Robbie, been a homie forever. So, one thing I was super proud of when he got his first ever exclusive, Blood, Skulls, and Chrome. This book sucks, but the cover, the Ghost Homage cover is great, and it's just a really cool. It's a really cool book to see my homie's logo. Somebody who, we both started about the same. We both started 6 years ago at the same time, and to see his name on a comic book it's amazing. And so I was super
I'm
proud.
Sure it
of
was
him.
a great feeling for him too. Like, yeah, my name's on a comic.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if you read it. I probably would. I'm gonna read if I ever get it offered for an exclusive, and it's probably really easy to get them because I could probably just be like, yeah, I'll buy 500 of your shitty book. But I'm gonna have to read it first, I think. But anyway, regardless, this is a dope cover, and I'm super proud of my homie.
Should have been a lot of artists who did that with the Nick Spencer run.
Yeah.
Let me read it first. It's Spider-Man. I don't care.
And neither did Nick Spencer either. He's just like, Spider who? Oh.
Rob, there's a 1 in 200 variant of the new Amazing Spider-Man. I know you're gonna want, but it retails for about $200.
Yeah.
It's and the kicker is the trade dress. The trade dress is only $6, but
Right.
they have the version of this.
Yeah, that's always the art German. You know what? And I don't dig it. So I could care less.
Oh, I had to buy it because it was MJ and Black Cat, so that's why I got.
Yeah,
that
see, I love MJ. Don't get me wrong, but I want my Spider-Man cover unless it has, Anyways, it was just that was a cover I saw on the art German stuff. I was like, I could pass. I'm actually being good. I think I only have like 3 covers I'm picking up for the ASM one, and I don't think any of them are retailer exclusives or anything else. I'll probably end up picking up a 1 in 25 or something, but that's about it.
Oh, nice.
I this week for my poll, like it was insane. Like just the normal books compared to what I normally spend. So I had to make some really deep cuts. And I still keep looking at it like I need to cut more.
I do that too.
because normally I'd say, ramen is cheap, but nothing is cheap right now.
No.
So I'm just kind of like, well, can we get by eating water? I don't know. We'll
even
see.
the cheap meals that your kids like aren't cheap anymore.
No.
My kid wanted Sloppy Joe one night. I'm like, Sloppy Joe? Yeah, that's cheap. Well, you're already $12-13 in just buying the beef.
Yep.
And then,
we had sandwiches the other night. I went to the deli. I bought like half a pound of turkey, half a pound of ham, some cheese, and like discounted rolls because we were going to eat them right there. And it was like still $18 by the time I left. And I was
cheapest dinner I had in a while. I had a coupon came in the mail for one of the fast food chain restaurants.
Yep.
It had 3 of their big burgers that start with a W, and 3 just regular cheeseburgers, and 3 fries for like $13. And I was like, they're thinking you're going to come in and buy drinks. So nope, I'm picking that up and I'm walking out the door, coming home, drinking water with them, with the family. There you go. You go having burgers and fries for $13.
Oh, right. Dude. It's like $13 for a combo now anyway.
Right. That's why I was surprised. I was like, oh, 3 of the big burgers plus 3 cheeseburgers for, or no, it was 3 double cheeseburgers or something like that. Even like, I was like, mind boggling. Anyways, number 6.
All right.
Yeah, I know we're way off track on this one.
Number 34. That's all that whatever.
All right. So the next 3 books have a similar theme. These were all they're all creators that I had on the show once that I'd never heard of, right? Somebody reached out because they had a Kickstarter coming up. And so I had them on the show, and then they just kept coming on the show and became really good friends of mine. I love everything they do. Some of them have started YouTube journeys now, so it's super exciting. One is Dog Pound Brown. If you guys don't know who Dog Pound Brown is, he's the writer of Theme of Thieves. His books, that's really fun. It's almost like Lost. It's a real character driven sci-fi piece. People are vanishing. They don't know
nice.
why. Really, really cool book. The cover makes it look bloodier than it is. It's just really, really fun. DP also hosts a Star Wars podcast and YouTube channel all over social media. I love this guy. He just oozes charisma. And so
What's that
DP
book
Brown.
called?
This is called The Theme of Thieves. The
okay.
Kickstarter for issue number 2 just completed, fully backed. Super proud of my boy. Cannot wait for the next issue. He also wrote a children's book. Sissy is the son. I think it's like Sal and Sissy are superheroes, but it's a children's book, and that you can find on Amazon as well. But this is a really good read. Really, really dig this. So, Theme of Thieves for my boy Dog Pound. So just like Brandon, who's in the chat, just a homie that came on the show and never left, and I'm so glad that he did. Marvin Wynn, we just his Kickstarter is coming up next month for getting the Edge in trade, but he's another one that reached out, and then after he reached out, that dude was like a permanent fixture on the Chamorro show when it was running, and we still talk on the regular. I just did the trailer for his Kickstarter, but the Edge is a really, really fun 90s theme. It's like all the badassery of Image Comics, right? From the 90s, but like rolled into this book, done with a little bit more modern art sensibilities. I really, really dig this book. This and Blowtorch is another one that is in that similar vein from Second Sight. And then Spider Squirrel, Charlie McKelvey. This dude is so freaking. He's like if coffee was a person. Like, dude is just jittery and excitable. And he was on Ninja Warrior, which completely blows my mind because I struggle to get out of bed most mornings, and this dude's doing salmon ladders. So
Ninja Warrior is insane.
I know it. And so this guy's dope. A bit of a narcissist. I can say that because he's my homie. I mean, he is the main character. I mean, who does that? Sal LaRocca did that for Aliens, but other than that, nobody else does that, right? But dude's amazing. Love this guy.
Put it right up there. Give us a good look at it,
dude. The artwork in this book is so cool, and this guy is like prolific. Him and Marvin I think has like 18 issues of the Edge like done, ready to go. This guy's got he's got spreadsheets of all these he's connected universes. People send him pitches for the annual, like he was just showing those off on Instagram. Like he's a go-getter, dude. He's got his book in a bunch of like restaurants all throughout I don't remember what city he lives in, but it's a big city, and he's got his book hanging up in restaurants because he like for whatever reason has variants where they're eating in those restaurants. Like brilliant marketing. Guy is super excitable, super energetic, and I just love Charlie. So those were my next 3 books that were kind of all in the same vein. So
wow, you burned right through those.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I could talk more about the books. They're great, but you guys should really, really check them out. Pick them up. Go to Kickstarter.
Was
go
that
to back
10 or 9?
That is 8.
8? Okay.
Yep. That's 8.
So now we're on 9.
Now we're on 9. This is the very first comic book I ever.
I told you I always lose count because I get caught up in the stories.
Oh, and I'm all over the place. I'm a very hard interview because I'm just jumping all over, and so
I'm good with it. That's what makes it fun.
But this is the very first comic I ever bought.
Oh,
with my own money. I love this holographic cover. At the mall,
it's not the love.
Oh, dude, and I think one of the things that I loved when I got it, I bought it at the mall, and there was a sports collectible shop that also had like 4 feet of comic book space, and this was there calling my name, and I think it uses like Walloom for a sound effect, and that was Walloom, and I was like, that's probably the most amazing sound effect ever that I've ever seen. And it was at that moment that I knew that I wanted to spend the next 30 years of my life aimlessly shuffling from job to job until I finally went back to the job I had in high school as an electrician. It was because of the word Walloom. So there you have it. But just just a really this is the actual one I have, but I actually have one in even better condition that I got from my homeboy Azores Tiger. He sent it to me
Nice.
in an AOK. So that one is like pristine. This is the old Peter Reader.
So
though.
you got to have the reader copy and the pristine copy.
Absolutely. And I still do that. I buy the reader copy online. like I read a lot of the books that I read end up being digital. Like Justin from No Good Comics has freaking ruined my pocketbook because now I like buy books and then I buy the same book sometimes digitally because I'm too scared to open it because it's Marvel paper, which means if
Right.
you breathe on it heavy, it disintegrates. So
Lies.
that's where we go.
I
Well, it's
read all.
funny too.
I read all the books I read physical, and I don't have any problems. You just gotta, you just don't go. I read well, you're eating fried chicken, and
Well, that's impossible for me, Rob. I'm actually eating fried chicken as we speak. I there's a buffer here, so I pause it, I take a bite, and then continue. But my kids read a lot of my comics, so like it's just those like rare number ones that I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to protect this one. But for the most part,
ones with 75 variants
yeah, you know,
Right. And see, that's where my
and
comic
massive
shop gets me.
print runs.
Like Captain Marvel the other week had 4 different covers. I liked one cover, but I bought all 4. I'm like, oh, it's Captain Marvel. This will be my reader. This will be my
dude. The swords and sorcery guys that like you get like you that read like how do you keep up with that? Because there's like a million Red Sonja covers, isn't there? Like every month. Isn't there, like,
I don't do that with Dynamite.
Oh,
Well, although
he'd be out of a house.
I was gonna say that like never
He
stops.
just waits.
you
He
can't
just
with
lets every,
Dynamite because in the back of every Dynamite book, there's 30 covers for every one.
Yeah. So that's
So-
where the community comes in with every time he gets all these. Anytime anyone gets any of them, they just send them to Gary anyways. So he probably has 40% of the covers and has only bought one cover for each issue.
I don't know if you ever get on the Experience, Gary, and watch their like Monday nights when they do their comic sales. But dude, there's always a gazillion different variants for.
Like I usually end up with three covers of each Red Sonja. I usually get the Joseph Michael Eisner. If there's a Perillo, I always get the Perillo. And then if there's a Janet Cletto, I'll always buy that too. But
See, the only physical books that I find difficult and I'm always nervous about reading are the square bound or the double shot, the big ones, like this whole the Batman Catwoman series and all these stuff where they're bigger, thicker, heavier books and they have a square binding and stuff. You're like, oh God, you're like you're trying to just barely open it to read inside, and they're like, oh, I can't quite see down in the crack of the book.
Just trying to get deep into that crack, and I just can't do it.
That's right, Chop.
Square bounds and prestige formats. I love prestige formats as a fan of the art, but they're I don't know, like Aftershock. We've been releasing a million of them, and they're where do you put them? You got to buy special boxes. And
are you a Thor reader?
No, but I want to be.
Okay, so this new run of Thor, right? So I go to pick it up today. It happens to be the 750th issue. So I get up to the counter. That issue's $10 because it's a 750. So Marvel's got to beef it up and
double thick.
Instead of charging $4, it's a $10 book now. And then they don't even do the right thing. They don't even make it square bound. They put some kind of weird binding on it. So like this should be square bound.
This is all split on the corners. Like
it's
ASM 800 was.
But I'm going to read it very carefully because I'm not going to buy another one of it.
And they wonder why kids aren't reading comics as much anymore.
No, we talked about that.
How many lawns do you have to mow to have a subscription box at your local shop as a kid? If the subscription box requires you to have at least, depending on your shop, depends upon 8. Let's say they let you only have as minimum of like 7 comics in a month. And you need to make at least $35 a month minimum just to pick up your comics. I mean,
that's how I ended up at Aftershock. Like I needed a part-time job to pay for the pull, and the pull was only like I try to keep it in that $50 to $60 range. It rarely stays there, but that's where I try to keep it. and so I had to get a part-time job just to do that, and that's how I ended up at Aftershock.
Yeah, I've had two weeks in a row less than $30, so I know that this week's going to be a triple digit.
See, oh,
pull
it
list,
is,
yeah.
Rob, because I had the same thing. I had 2 cheap weeks. I was like, yes. And I went in this week. I'm like, oh, gonna need
Yeah.
some lube.
If I get
Yeah.
out under one, if I get usually for me, it's if I get out under 100, I'm good. But sometimes I'm going to go into like this week going, if I just stay under 200, please.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah, I get the whoa. Out of focus there. I get the, you get that email from League of Comic Geeks or whatever every Monday, and I'm like, oh yeah, that because it's like I said, $50, and this week it was 135, and I was like, oh, I'll cut. And I was like, well, oh, it's because the last road it was out. No, like half my books are $5.99 this week. Like it just covers, like not.
Yeah,
nothing
just
special.
nuts.
So
yeah, I wish I wasn't such a big Star Wars fan too. That'd make my life a lot cheaper.
that's
It would, because they're just pumping that out like crazy.
Oh, that book, I had to cancel High Republic because when I had COVID, I couldn't get to the shop for 2 months. I went and picked up my books, and I had like 17 different High Republic titles, like between that and Adventures.
Oh yeah,
like,
because they had the regular, the Adventures, and then they had like multiple miniseries that came out.
like Trail
Yeah.
of Sorrows or whatever the hell. I was like,
Right.
So I ended up having to cancel. I was like, I just bought like $300 worth of books, and most of them are Star Wars High Republic, which I was really only getting for Kyrie, and Kyrie doesn't really dig on them as much
Yeah,
as
but
she.
See,
but
and
still
I
gotta pick
started.
up.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I say you still got to pick up though the Star Wars, the Darth Vader, and the Dr. Aphra right there. That's 3. I just dropped Bounty Hunters, but now they're bringing out Mandalorians. So you're like, well, I got to check that out, I guess. And then because the Obi-Wan series, well, that's the movies shows coming out. I guess I should read that one. Even that's a limited series. Or
Well, it's nuts because they pump out so many titles that they made me quit reading it, and I was enjoying the 3 titles.
yeah,
All of a sudden, 3 titles is 13 titles, and I'm like, yeah,
trying to keep it to 3 to 4. But right now I'm at 4 at least, but Mandalorian's going to come out. That's going to be a 5th one again. It's like, hey, that's.
All right, Manny.
Recently got into X-Men, and that's been an issue because I just told my shop, I don't know anything about X-Men, so just get me X-Men books, and all of a sudden I've got like 7 different X-Men titles.
Yeah, I'm so glad I tapped out on. I never got into that one.
That's why I never started reading the new X-Men again, because I already knew that you can't just have one X book. You got to have 8 to 10 to 12 X-Men books.
Too many titles. Are we talking Batman? Yeah, the Bat family is the other problem I have with the. Thank God, Spider-Man. I can get by with just the one title,
dude.
For now,
I love indie books so much, but honestly, if it comes down to cutting, I don't think Spider-Man or Batman ever even enters the fold, which is really sad because there's a lot of indie books that I'm like.
So the main titles never enter the fold, but some of the ancillary titles you start to like. I'm pretty much done with Legend of the Dark Knight at this point. Well,
yeah,
that but there's still Batman and Detective Comics, and Nightwing's been great, and Robin hasn't been bad.
That's been good. No. Well, and Joker, every freaking time I think, all right, I'm done with Joker. Like my wife reads it.
It's almost over.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna drop Joker. Tiff reads it, but yeah, whatever. She can
Harley Quinn has been unreadable, but thanks to the interior. But Derek Chew on the B cover is so goddamn good. I can't not get that goddamn
Derek
book.
Chew is amazing.
God damn, another book I don't read that I buy just for the cover every single month.
Dude, I'm that way with Berserker. I haven't read Berserker since like issue 3. Like I didn't even know it was still pulling it because it comes out so sporadically. So it's like
it's a 12-issue book.
And not only do I get my A cover like in my pull, but if I see shiny, I have to get it because I'm half pigeon on my mother's side. So I go and I buy the foil cover every time too. And I haven't even read the book for 5 issues. But
all right, number 10.
Yes, let's get to number 10.
It's the only slab.
Don't worry, we got more tangents to go on.
It's my only slab in my collection, and this one's it's super special to me because this is a book that I got from one of my absolute favorite people in the world, Dank Comics. I got this from Dank. This is from when he was a kid. This was his book. He sent it in CGC, got it graded. sent it off to me. So this is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, issue number
Nice.
1 in a 9/8.
Wow.
So yeah, it's my and this was his reader when he was a kid, so he was amazed at the grade he got.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm one of the few people that like I was young and I hadn't developed my film snobbery yet when League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came out. So I understand it's a bad movie, but I also understand that I'm gonna watch that damn thing every time it's on.
It's still
So
fun.
yeah,
So
so
bad movies can be fun.
so this is it. This is the one slab. So Rob, if you ever have me on Slab Hub, you're gonna get this, and probably I'll probably end up Tylering it up and just put a bunch of Pokemon cards. So
yeah,
you already tuned them out.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with a movie that's fun to watch that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be every movie you enjoy doesn't have to be great masterpieces. I will watch Smokey and the Bandit every damn time it's on TV. It's just fun. No stretch of the imagination is it a great film. It barely has a plot, but at the end of the day, I have fun watching it, and I don't care what I learned in film school or anything else. Right? It's like,
yep.
I will watch this every day.
And all those snobby film people have their guilty pleasure movies that they don't admit to.
Just like every musician has a band that they don't want to admit that they listen to, and
right. So what's your 10th book what's your next book with a story?
My next book with a story. This one is super. I know I keep saying the same phrase, but this book's super important to me because one of the things that I did for a long time was keep my inner nerdiness under a rug. Right. My wife had no idea the train wreck she was saddling herself to when she married me, and because
didn't date long.
No, and because we were thing is, I moved to Minnesota, right, and I met my wife in Minnesota. At that point, I was able to redefine myself, right? So
everything else stayed in storage.
Yeah, so like, and because we were broke, right? We got married when we were legitimately children. Like at my wedding, when we got our first apartment together, I was under 18, so we had to find someone who was willing to rent to us. So we were broke, like those Lipton dollar packs of cheesy broccoli rice. That was like our dinner for nights. It was like that was what we had. So I couldn't buy anything. And then about, I don't know, somewhere in my early 30s, late 20s, that's when I started getting disposable income, and so I was like, I'm buying toys and shit. And I saw the disappointment in her face, and I really wanted to stop. I wanted to look at her and assure her that the man she married was still there, but I couldn't do it. I can't deny my true self. I had to live my truth, you guys. So I went and bought a bunch of toys and shit, and comic books. I kind of, we would always stop in comic book stores, like if it was my birthday or something, because she knows I dug them. But I was still kind of like, can I jump into a hobby that's going to cost me $4 a book weekly and buy all these books that I can see that I want? So I kept pushing it back. Finally, I said, screw it. Pandemic hit. I started buying books. So that is a very long-winded way of saying I never thought my wife and I would share this hobby. I never thought my wife would be as excited about books as I am. I never thought that I'd have to go tell my wife, hey, are you finally done bin hunting so we can go eat lunch? And the book that got us there was Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1, this trade paperback. So
Nice.
So this book, it gave me and my wife something that we could do together and
brought the
love,
hobby to the family.
And now my kids have comic books. My wife is done with her books for the last 2 weeks. I still have about 10 books still I have to read for the month of April. She finishes like right away. She's so involved in reading and loving these books. So this book, I will forever be grateful to James Tynan for this book. And I will also always be grateful for the hours of debate on how the hell you say his last name. So this book is super special.
Say it the way it comes out of my mouth.
Yep.
See, I had the other problem. For the first 20 years of our marriage, I was lugging her long boxes from one apartment to the next place.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh.
See,
Oh,
this man,
dude.
that's awesome. There's a comic for literally everyone. There really is, especially in this day and age. And I thought you were going to show a toy there for a second too.
Oh, well, I
But
mean, I got a bunch of them, but
I got before we get to your spec pick, I got a toy that I picked up today that you would be a fan of. So I'm gonna make myself big and show you the toy real quick.
let's do it.
All right, you already know because we talked about this on your show, which I hope you bring back at some point. But we have the Neca,
Yeah, dude.
and he even comes with the whiskey bottle and the rocks glass.
Dude, I remember seeing when they announced that. I got the email from Entertainment Earth because if you go to my website, the Hunting Grounds Toys and Collectibles, you can go and check that out. An affiliate link in the description. But I got the email for that, and I was like, I'm getting this toy, and I've never seen it in the wild, dude. That is so awesome.
It was in my LCS today. I'm like, bye. It wasn't even an option. I'm like, is that McCready?
Oh, dude.
McCready's coming home.
Oh, that is so awesome, dude. That is awesome.
But now I can hug it when I'm watching the movie.
Which is every night. It's every night.
It's true. I can't deny it. I'm gonna put it on tonight when we're done here. Probably bag and board some while I'm watching it.
Oh, dude.
Oh goodness.
I'm gonna get stuck watching some Nickelodeon like live action tween television show because my kid is obsessed right now. So
watch it get
at least your kid will
slimed.
come out and watch TV with you.
yeah. Well, it's not so much watch with me, it's change the channel as I'm in the middle of watching something because we have to watch the Thundermans or Henry Danger for the 20th.
You know what? Enjoy it while it lasts still.
Yeah.
The highlight I had mine is 18. My youngest is 18, and the highlight of probably the last 2 years has been that while mom was away this last weekend, he actually came out of his room or spent the time with either the door open or came out and actually at one point sat down on the couch and had a conversation with me for 5 minutes. And I was just blown away. I was so ecstatic.
Oh. Yeah. Mine don't leave me alone yet. So when they get to be that age, I'm sure. Oh, dude.
And guys, I want to point out someone that's in the chat for a second. So if you guys have never checked out this channel, it's an Australian channel. Keep on collecting. Amazing toys. If you're a toy person, the stuff that they showcase is absolutely amazing.
Well, I have a question. Have we gotten into the story one, or are we still in the middle of the story?
That was
story. Right. So I have a question about this parrot that's on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Tell us about this parrot that's on your shoulder.
Noggin Comics. Noggin Comics is a really, really fun channel. Kyle and Nora, they cover books. They go to swap meets. They show off their haul videos. Nora is actually manager of a LCS that I visit on the regular. They love books. That's one of the things that like I could see right away when I went to their channel is that they love stories. And because they're local here in Minnesota, we're involved in all the same groups online. Minnesota Comics Exchange, which is a great Facebook group if you're in Minnesota. Check out Minnesota Comic Exchange, and they're constantly giving recommendations, building people up, helping people find books. They are just an amazing couple. They're criminally undersubbed, and it was just Kyle's 30th birthday, so make sure that you check out Noggin Comics. Yeah,
cool.
So Manny, what have you got as a spec pick for us?
A spec pick. All right. So I am not great at spec, like at all. You can tell by the way that I just I go and I buy like Power Mark Christian comic books all the time because I think they're going to come up in value. I think the MCU is going to use them at some point. So I snatch them all. No, I couldn't think of a joke there. But anyway, guys, the books that I'm gonna do, this is a trade. This is a trade because I don't have any floppies of. But Gotham Central, like with the success of the Batman and the HBO Max, they're gonna have to be mining for more stories. I think you're gonna find some really cool stuff in Gotham Central. So that's a spec pick, and Once in Future. I think that's another that's an Arthurian, like studios freaking love the Arthurian stuff, and they can never pull it off right. I think Once in Future does a really good job of being able to use that license and give us a story that's fun. It's in the vein of Indiana Jones. It's got that supernatural element that I think kids are gonna love, and just the dialogue, snappy dialogue from Kieran Gillen. I think that Once in Future is another really great book that's just prime for studio meddling and interference.
Right, and it's still going strong, that book.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like almost 30 issues in.
absolutely. And I like started like reading. I started getting the floppies like, I don't know, 2 or 3. No, it's probably like 5 months ago. So like I had to buy all these trades now. So I don't know which books I have in floppy and what I have in trade. So now I'm just gonna perpetually be getting the floppies in my box, because we talked about the non-alpha male status I have about canceling things. So I'm gonna just continue to get the floppies, but I'm gonna have to buy the trades because I have no freaking clue where I'm at in the story.
I did that with Saga because I came to the Saga boat late, but that was like 5 years ago. I heard about Saga and I bought the first trade, and then I ended up buying all 7 trades and read through the whole thing. So now I'm, at least when it started back up again, now I'm able to get the floppies. But because I collected the first 7 volumes in trade, every time they put a trade out, I want my trade collection to be complete too. So I'm going to end up buying the trades.
That's how I have to read Department of Truth, because I vacillate on that book. Like the Sasquatch shit lost me for a while, but this moon landing one was really good. So like last month, so I'm just kind of like, but I remember the first time I read it, it was volume 1 in trade, and I remember absolutely loving it. So I think that might be a book I have to read in trade, just to.
Is each
to
one
keep
of
my
those a
interest.
one-off story? Each issue?
This last art, well, it's not so much a one arc off story as it's like you're following the same character through different conspiracy theories.
Oh,
So it's
different
tied in,
investigations.
yeah, so there's an overarching narrative. I think
So it's
Tynan's
like X
dragging
Files.
yeah, and I think he's kind of dragging his feet in keeping the serialized nature. I think one of the problems is like Something is Killing the Children Department of Truth, like they're super popular right now. So he needs to continue the stories, right? So I end up with shit like
Right.
House of Slaughter. So like they just need to continue to build the stories, and I think that's keeping him from telling the overarching narrative. I think he's dragging his feet. I think this is like season 3 of a sitcom at this
Right. And
point.
how many conspiracy theories can there be?
Oh, there's gotta there. He can just start making conspiracies about conspiracies, at this point.
I guess I've never been a conspiracy theorist, so I guess it's a big old rabbit hole.
Yeah, because he could be like the Earth is flat, but that's a conspiracy by the elliptical Earth people who are actually working for the triangle Earth people, and we just make this whole thing a thing.
The Earth is flat. That one
Aliens.
still always kills me. Oh goodness.
Aliens.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rob.
I said aliens.
Right.
They did a really cool issue of that. Like in recently, there's a character that wears a tinfoil hat, so like they had to give his backstory to pad the issue count, and that was actually a really cool story about aliens and why he wears a tinfoil hat.
See, some of them I would find interesting. The political conspiracy theories don't do anything for me. And I know those are some of the most interesting to other people.
Yeah.
But I always have the bent towards the sci-fi and supernatural lean on things. Those are always the most fun.
I was super excited for the cryptozoology stuff, right? Like when he did the Sasquatch issues, I was like, oh heck yeah. But the problem was like, I don't know if what his deal was. I don't know if he got like a little arrogant and was like, no, I just want my words on the page, because you get like notebook pages. There are multiple pages where you're just reading text like on a notebook.
Oh wow.
And it's like
kind of dry.
A comic book. Yeah. So those issues were another one where I was like, I'm gonna check out on this one. But my wife has been super diligent and in building that up, because I believe that without us buying Department of Truth every month, it would go belly up. Like I don't know if anyone else is reading that book at all, but
so you're the cornerstone.
absolutely. Just gotta keep it going.
I can say I've never read an issue.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's just there's some plotting.
I'm that guy that I've already got enough books. I add more. And then, of course, I added Rogue Sun because that looked really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man, the Radiant Black. I went on a tangent on my last live stream on the Radiant Black universe stuff. So I've been
I bailed on that.
oh, I was
yeah,
so
the new
disappointed.
Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I liked Radiant Black. I still enjoy Radiant Black. Like, of those titles, that's my favorite. Radiant Red is bullshit. Like it's a terrible book. And then like Rogue Sun is got some promise, but I feel like it feels like they're dropping us in the middle of the pool. Like I'm the characters in Supermassive kind of like it's hard for me to get on. Supermassive was like the big crossover. It was like the Geiger 80th anniversary issue, right? Where they were like, this is all the stuff we're gonna do. Two
I didn't know
Brothers had
Rogue
an
Sun was part of that. I thought it was just its own thing.
Yeah, so
that
there's
might
like
ruin it for me.
So yeah, no.
Yeah, they just kind of drop us in. They just kind of drop us in.
I tapped out on that once they started launching multiple books. I was like, oh, you haven't really you've grabbed me a little bit on the main book, and then you start to slow it. It was an up and down, and where like just as soon as I'm about to drop it, all of a sudden it'll get interesting again for a moment, and then you drop me back down. I said, you haven't really hooked me 100% on the main book, and now you want to start launching others. I'm done. Walk away now.
There was this like
I might be wrong.
There was like this deep like meta thing going on with like the first 4 or 5 issues of Radiant Black, where like a struggling writer breaking out of the mold. Like there was some cool shit there.
And then when they made the sudden twist, and I was like, oh, holy cow! I was hooked for a second, and then it just went nowhere with it, and I was like, oh, yeah, wow. Well,
see, yeah, I think I think he was working through having to write a Power Rangers book coming off of Power Rangers and like working through his personal issues, using the main character as a stand-in for himself.
Right.
And then he got to the point where he's like, okay, now we're going to do the Power Rangers book. And I don't think I think that started losing people. And now we're kind of going back into this more introspective stuff with the characters. So it's like, okay, I think he's course correcting now. But then now there's this whole universe. And I feel like the oversaturation of the Radiant universe is going to make me less and less optimistic about the main title.
If I want a bunch of fantastical ramblings, I'll just go hang out with a bunch of 6-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. And or me, if you come hang out with me, I ramble with the best of them.
Absolutely. And since we've been going on tangents, Manny,
or I can talk to Tyler about Pokemon cards.
We've been way off track for a bit. Did you read Joy Operations?
We're done. We're just hanging out now. What are you talking about, Gary?
Yeah. Did you read Joy Operations?
Joy Operations? No, I did not.
No, I thought that was really good. I actually enjoyed that 4-issue series. That was a Brian Michael Bendis series.
It's going on the list.
And it's got a cool thing of someone else in another person's body, and they're both cognizant in this body. But the one person's a secret agent in this other agent's body, but it's in a future in its own world state. And there's a bunch of different things going on to keep one person on it. And it's just really cool. The main character is cool. She's got a really cool family dynamic. And man, that book, I expected nothing out of it and had a blast with it.
Oh, it's on the list. It's on the list.
So Brother John wants to know, Rob, exactly who would want you hanging out with their 6-year-old?
You'd be surprised. I actually test very well in that demographic.
Well, he's got the voice to put them to sleep because Rob can hit that baritone that talk the kids down.
And they're very fascinated by a person who's got a bald head and their facial hair. It's like your head is upside down, and so they look at you really kind of get intrigued. It's really bizarre. When I used to work in the classroom and stuff with my kids at that age, it was mind-numbing because I did not necessarily want to engage with them, but they would just get like really interested in you or in me, and I was whatever.
Plus, you got comics.
I did not in that classroom. I didn't.
Oh,
but I did read to that. We read to them Green Eggs and Ham, and then we made Green Eggs and Spam.
Ooh, Spam is my language, man.
Right? Yeah, we read because you read the book. It was actually going back to my mom had done for me. But then in the classroom, we come in, I read to the kids, we read Green Eggs and Ham, and then we had a cooking lesson, and we had the kids scramble eggs and put a drop of blue food coloring in it, and talk about blue and yellow makes what color. Oh yeah, make green eggs, and then give them spam, because with a plastic knife they can cut the spam and it's safe versus ham and stuff. And
Right.
they cook it up, and I get parents coming up to me weeks later telling me their kid won't eat anything except green eggs and spam now. It's like,
You're welcome.
yeah, that's
How
right.
much money am I saving?
And it makes you take like 1 or 2 eggs and a drop of blue food coloring, and it makes like the most neon green color eggs you've ever seen in your life, and it's just crazy.
Oh, dude, that sounds fun. I'm writing that down too. We're doing that at home this weekend.
It's become a hangout and life correction show.
Dude, I don't know who started it or when they started it, but on like I said, on the Experience, every Monday night I'm watching that show, and gosh, there's great deals to be had. But they started talking about spam like at one point, like a few months ago. Now it's like a regular thing. This Monday's episode featured 2 cans of spam in front of all the books they were selling.
Oh, nice.
Front and center, like spam has
OG spam or special flavored spam.
These were OG spam, but they were talking a lot about the jalapenos flavored spam. I think it was John took it. It was one of the hosts. He took it and blended it up with mayonnaise and made a spread out of it, which I love spam. I can't see myself ever doing that.
I never thought to mix spam with mayonnaise.
Yeah, I mean, if you broke it, you basically are mixing it up like almost like you would into a almost you go with tuna fish or something, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see it. I wouldn't necessarily do it, but I could see it. I mean, I grew up on it. My mom, my mom was born in Hawaii. My grandfather worked for the American Can Company, and the only food they ate was food that was canned by the American Can Company. And guess who made spam? Dude, that was a staple.
We're here in Minnesota at Hormel Foods, right?
Right
there. So they have a spam museum, and I've always eaten tons of spam. We go to the spam museum. There's literally a display for Guam because we eat so much spam on Guam that they have their own display.
There's a festival in Hawaii. My brother was living there. They went to the spam festival, and it's like this giant. Right, you can come out and hang out with the spam can, and
there's a whole there's a shop in there like full of spam merchandise. You can buy spammy plushies, spammy
people
shirts.
Want to knock it, but I'll tell you what, especially if you could, out of the can, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it straight.
Yeah,
but you start cooking with it and stuff, it's not bad at all. It can be downright flavorful. So,
if you fry it crispy,
it's got the right amount of salt content. Too much.
We make bacon. Slice it really thin and fry it up like bacon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's basically with the old sizzling, for those of you who are old enough to remember move over bacon. Now there's something meatier.
I forgot about sizzling.
Yeah, sizzling is basically the same thing as spam. You just slice it really thin and fry it up. It's
dude, they the Philippines has their own flavor called, I think it's tocino spam.
Yeah.
And it's it's almost like spam candy. It's like a real sweet barbecue kind of flavor, but it's got that trademark saltiness. Really, really good stuff.
Man, good times.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew?
This has been our spam review.
Yeah.
Hey.
I do have one can that's like a Monty Python themed can up in my thing that is it's I can't remember what flavor it was though, but it's something that it's all done to the theme of the not the spam song, but the
Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail theme, yeah. It's the instructions on the back on how to peel the can is like, the pulling the pin on the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, and it's just
nice.
Too bad, Chop. You'll have to get back there. Hey, this is the USA. We love our salty meat products. Slim Jims, Spam.
Oh, dude, you know what? I love the Monster Tabasco flavored Monster Slim Jims, but I have the Savage one, and there is a limit. There is an amount of Slim Jim that is too much Slim Jim. Like I bit that and I was like, oh my gosh, my body rebelled, man. It was pissed.
I bought the Savage one, and I was like, this is gonna be incredible. it's hard to finish.
Yeah.
That
I've
is
never-
I mean,
never had a
those
Slim
are
Jim.
big.
I make my
Yeah.
own beef jerky, so I don't know.
I have the meat locker here in town, like because when we go goose hunting, like that, we go goose hunting all season
Right.
in order to make beef
Oh,
or goose
Tapatio's
sticks
good.
for when we go to actually go. When we go to our big goose hunt, which we hardly ever shoot geese, but at that one, which is supposed to be our big one, but that's where we eat them all. So we hunt all season just to have beef sticks so that we have something to eat when we go hunting at the end of the season.
Do you know anyone? Because I used to know someone, they would make their own venison jerky and then go get it processed at a plant, and you get the venison,
I just slice it thin, put it in the smoker on the lowest temperature, and after I've marinated, my beef and stuff, I marinate it in bourbon and but I don't use sugar, so it's a sugar-free beef jerky.
And Jackson Roykirk, Jackson's onto something here. Tapatio is really good if you guys have never had it. It's a good hot sauce.
I'm more of a Cristal
Cristal's
guy
good.
myself.
Cristal's
And I like
good.
the
Frank's.
any Chipotle hot sauce I really like.
Yeah. Just the Tabasco or Chipotle flavored hot sauces.
Chipotle flavored. I especially like it in chili. Mm.
Yeah, the smoky Chipotle Tabasco is pretty good. I do like Frank's. I like, but it tastes so much like buffalo wings. Like you have to like. There's only certain things I can put it on.
Yeah.
But I go through the bigger bottle of Tabasco at a rate of, I want to say, about one every month and a half or so.
Yeah, my big bottle of Cristal goes about once a month.
Yeah,
and because it's on eggs every day and pizza or fried chicken and whatever.
We have, no lie, probably 15 or 16 bottles of hot sauce, and we're always buying more every month. I have to stop my kid from drinking it. He'll just sit there and drink it straight. I'm like, we all want to use it.
There's about 40 above in the shelf in my kitchen. They're all these different, all the ones with the weirdest names you ever heard in your life. Like Lethal Ingestion and Ass Blaster and
Ass Blaster. Oh, dude, I've got the Devil's Big Toe up in my cupboard right now.
Uncle Jerry's Mustard Gas. Slap My Ass and Call Me Sally. Was it Ass Reaper?
We're giving a bunch of people.
The Ass Blaster is the great one though, because it comes in a little wooden like outhouse, and you open it up, and there's the bottle inside of it. It's
nice.
Dude.
Good little novelty hot sauce.
Yeah, that's what they are. A lot of them are novelty ones. They're up there on display.
So keep on collecting. Are you getting hungry because of the spam talk, the hot sauce talk, or is it because of all the ass names? That I think that's a relevant question.
Keep on collecting. You have to give them the Joey Tribbiani answer. Put your hands together, my friend.
No, I don't have any of that one. I do have some of the Source and a lot of what is the
hot ones?
Well, I forget what the name of the one I have is over there. It's the death sauce stuff. You start getting into the really high end on the death sauce stuff where you have to start signing waivers for one of the stuff I have is called Nitro Death Rain. I had to sign a waiver for it when I bought it, and it's essentially they took their hottest sauce and then they dried it into a powder. And it's something in the neighborhood of like 13 million Scoville units. Oh, man. And we use that when we're making part of my fire sauce, my hot barbecue sauce. We use that along with a mix of Carolina Reaper mash. And
Rob, what was the sauce you sent me that was so good?
The fire sauce. The fire sauce. Yeah, it's FYR, stands for fuck you, Rob.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
It's tasty, but it has a kick.
Yeah, you won't be eating it by the spoonful, Manny.
Oh, dude!
If you will, you'll be it'll be leaving you later.
Yeah, you feel it move through your digestive system, especially the older you are.
I bought a chocolate bar once that was like it was Reaper extract and Reaper infused chocolate with Reaper extract. It had chunks of Reaper in it, and then it had a Reaper salt on the top. And it hurt so bad. And I love hot stuff. Like I was like, oh, this will be nothing.
Did it hurt in and out?
The thing of the Reaper, I love Reaper peppers when it comes down to it, just because they have a fruitier flavor. Unlike Ghost Pepper will kick you in the face right away.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina Reaper peppers don't kick you in the face right away typically, but they have a good flavor. Whereas Ghost Pepper has a chemical flavor to it, and so when I use Ghost Pepper, it's usually just a little bit to give some instant heat to something I'm making, but I'd much rather go with the Reaper pepper because it's got a much fruitier flavor and it comes up creeps up on you. Really, it's a creeping kind of death that builds up on you.
Oh, we Minnesota Ghost Pepper products. On my other back in the day, I used to have a libertarian podcast that we'd have a bunch of Minnesota people on, and when Minnesota Ghost Pepper products came on, they had these like amazing sauces. But you're right, it has that chemically, that little bit of chemical kind of flavor.
Yeah, I have a Ghost Pepper grinder, which is real fun. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but the problem is when you grind and you aerate Ghost Pepper, it will get in your eyes.
Well, and it maces you, right?
Yeah, it's like intentionally going up to the police and saying, "Hey, you're an idiot," and punching them.
We've all had that drunken night in our 20s.
Well, it was fun watching everybody do the one chip challenge there for a while when everybody was on that kick. You just see people crying on YouTube. It was funny.
I couldn't get the one chip challenge, so I bought the Pocky haunted Ghost Pepper chips, and I was like, oh, these will be there. They were so tame. We ended up having to add a hot sauce to them, but we still couldn't get a reaction.
When I ate it, when I did the one chip, it was just so dry.
Yeah.
Like it had no flavor. It tasted like complete crap. I'm like, well, you can only buy this once just because it tastes like garbage. There wasn't even any flavor to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, exciting.
Right. All right. So we've gone, Manny. I'd like to congratulate you on our longest 10-1-1 yet.
Oh, yes.
We went right off the bullshit scale and kept on going. But we've had a blast doing so.
Oh, I miss talking to you, dude.
That's it. So, Rob, what's coming up for you this week, sir?
Oh, we'll have an unboxing on Thursday. Some CGC slabs, actually, that I sent in. Oh, goodness gracious. Back before the very first price increase at CGC, they finally came back. So we'll open those up. And then on Saturday, we got Slab Hub. We have Justin Birch, the Ringo nominated letterer, coming on to bring on some of his books from his collection.
Awesome. So this Thursday, coming up on my channel, and in the hot seat with the usual suspects, we have Travis, TM Nerdy himself, in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Friday, we have Disney Comics, and he'll be on. Come check him out. And The Gallows Man, which Manny showed earlier. And we'll be discussing that book and sending you guys all the links, and we'll have a great discussion. Of course, Saturday, we have Savage Saturday Comic Review. This week, we are going to do Merlin. John Buscema art on the inside. So this will be a good old black and white mag to review and have some fun with. And Manny, what's coming up for you, sir?
For me, I've got Anand RK. I'm not sure on Andre Moody if he's still coming on because we did have to shift things. But we got Anand RK coming on. And I'll get a couple other artists in there because we're gonna have to course correct with some of the scheduling. But that'll be the first Friday in May, so we'll be talking art, and then the second Friday in May will be our retailer roundup. So we'll have a couple of different comic book retailers coming on to talk about kind of the state of the hobby, where they see things going, just nice light subjects like that, and and yeah, so that's what I've got going on, but like I said, definitely go check out Nick Comic Culture if you get a chance this week. He's going to have Wednesday will be the FOC and what's new in the shop at Cadets. He'll be doing his haul video. Friday will be Nick at Night, where he'll be doing non-spoiler reviews. He just did FOC for the month on a live stream on Sunday. Nick is my go-to guy for all things comics. Make sure that you go check out Nick Comic Culture if you get a chance.
Awesome. Shout out. See, you're a great community guy. Also, guys, Manny's links are in the description below. So give him a follow on IG, give him a follow on YouTube. Subscribe to him up. Subscribe to him up. Yeah, me English, good. Subscribe to Manny. I went total King Kong on that one. But that's it. I want to thank everyone in the audience. Great hangout. A lot of fun chat going on. I was watching, getting some giggles. Thank you all for joining us. We had a great time. And hopefully this won't be Manny's last appearance on my channel. He's been on twice now, kicking and screaming, but we got him here. And that's it for now. Until next time, guys, keep it